founder of Leadbook and a lot of cool tools. Just you can introduce yourself to people. Who are you and what are you doing?
Sweet. Yeah, my name is Joss. I own a software called Leadbook, which is kind of like XReacher, but it's for Facebook. It does Facebook and Reach, and I own two other tools, LeadGram and then a LinkedIn Outreach tool. Yeah, besides that, the main thing that I do actually besides Leadbook is I raise money for a film fund. So they kind of like this private equity fund that raises money for movies. And yeah, Leadbook is kind of like a side thing, but it's the thing that I probably do the most marketing for. So I think most people might know Leadbook if they're familiar with it.
I see. Cool. Cool. And what is like the thing that you are focusing right now the most out of those things?
Definitely the film fund. Leadbook,
Okay.
technically I am focused on the Leadbook, but the thing is, the film fund comes number one, and then
Mhm.
technically, even though Leadbook is the thing I sell through it, I kind of am focusing mostly on my newsletters. So I have two newsletters. One is kind of in the real estate business niche, and that's at 24,000 subscribers. And the other one is basically the Leadbook newsletter, which is at 15,000. And even though I'm selling Leadbook as an actual product and I have different offers that I sell to the newsletter, my kind of main focus and the thing that I'm actually starting to use XReacher for is just growing the newsletter because I know as long as I can get someone to give me their email, usually they can make me about $1
Yeah.
per month. And that's pretty standard with most people's newsletters. At a very minimum, when people don't have the best offers, they can at least make around 50 cents per email on that list. So even though Leadbook's the thing I sell and I kind of market the most, my actual kind of secret main focus is just expanding the newsletter as much as possible.
Cool. Cool. That's kind of smart. So you are doing outreach to the people that you want in your newsletter, and just send them a message to why should they join the newsletter, and then you send them a link or something like that.
No, actually, this is kind of the secret sauce that I don't like to reveal
Oh,
too
I
much,
see.
but I'm down to reveal it. No, I'll tell you. The thing that I do instead, because that can work, and yeah, this as long as it's a good newsletter, that could work. But the best thing to do, especially when you're using XReacher, because Facebook Outreach, this doesn't really work because there's only about 50 DMs maximum per
Yeah.
Facebook account per day, so that doesn't really work. But if you're using XReacher, because you can send so many DMs with it per account, you can actually do a method where instead of just pitching the newsletter, you just send them a direct link to a lead magnet. So obviously, a lead magnet has to be a landing page that collects an email, otherwise there's no point doing it. But it's kind of like you guys, because I know I received DMs from a ton of your guys' as fake accounts, and you direct link to XReacher, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could do that, but kind of just with a lead magnet. So that's what I'm starting to do. And so you would say maybe like I made a loom showing how you have to send 1,000 DMs per day. On your guys' case, I made a loom showing how to send 6,000 XDMs per day. Here's a link to the loom. And then instead of just directly linking to the loom or the video, you would link to a landing page and then they had to put their email in to get sent the loom. And that way you can, as
Yes.
long as someone opts in, if you're sending 6,000 per day, you could be getting at least a few hundred opt-ins per day, and you know that can make you a few $100 per month, kind of thing.
That's okay. That's cool. Like what we have been doing before was a school. So we was basically messaging people to join our school group, and then we got like emails from that, and also get them into the school, which was working pretty
Oh,
well, and
nice.
then selling them into the paid one. I have seen also some people using XReacher doing this. So I guess
What?
it's working similar as to Lead Magnet, I guess.
Yeah. How did you get people into the school group? What was your kind of, I guess, traffic
Yeah.
method?
So we was targeting appointment setters and people like that. So basically, just on XReacher, we find people that are basically people that are being followed by appointment setters. Then we just scrape those and message them, just like say, hey name, hey there, first name. We
Uh,
have this school group. Inside we are explaining how to do this and this. This is why you should join, and then like directly send them the link to join the school group, and we have grown it to
uh,
3,400 members with that.
nice, 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 nice. That's good. I know you guys. I don't know if you guys explicitly have a newsletter, but I've seen some emails from you showing discounts, right? So you guys do have
Yeah,
like an email list, right?
yeah, we have an email list. So we have those like 3,000 people from the group that we have, the school group, which we aren't focusing that much on right now. And then we have Xreacher users basically. So each time somebody signs up to Xreacher, we have another email list.
Nice, nice, nice.
So yeah, we have
Yeah,
like
okay, cool.
1,000
Because I don't,
there.
I kind of use the word newsletter the wrong way sometimes because people think it's like a bunch of text or whatever it may be, but sometimes it's just directly pitching the offer. So I kind of mean the same
Yeah,
thing an email list, really. It doesn't even have to be a
yeah,
newsletter per se. Yeah, do you guys have different offers? Because obviously you have the
mhm,
Xreacher offer, just the software.
yeah.
You guys do like consulting, or what are your kind of other offers that you sell in the school group and the email list?
Yeah, so main thing is just Xreacher, just like users that buy the subscriptions. This is the thing that we try to push a lot right now. And then the second biggest thing that we do is just like uh, done for you outreach. So we set up like 10 or
Nice,
15 accounts, like Twitter accounts, verify them, and just run outreach campaigns through Xreacher to book people calls. We also do
nice.
Instagram, and we have done Facebook, but right now we are just running mainly Twitter. Most of it is just Twitter through Xreacher, and some clients are still we are running some Instagram campaigns for them.
You guys do like consulting or anything like that? I spoke to a guy yesterday that
Yeah,
I booked a meeting through XReach, a really cool guy, but his main kind of revenue source was just a bunch of consulting.
yeah, we do some consulting. Me and my brother, we are getting some people through YouTube that just want to, help with, multiple account setup and outreach in general. Just have some questions on how to set up accounts and things like that. So we also do some consulting for them, but it's usually just like one time, for example, for 1 month or something. And after they know everything, then yeah, they just go ahead with that. But it's like not
Gotcha,
the main
gotcha, gotcha.
focus.
Gotcha, nice, yeah. How long have your brother and you been working together? It's kind of dope. Is he older than you or younger?
Yeah, he's a little bit older, but we have started at the same time, and we are doing this like 2 years right now or something.
Nice. Yeah, no,
Just
it's
doing
dope working
outreach.
with your brother.
Yeah,
So
it's
he's kind of the dev side of stuff, you do the marketing, right?
not exactly. He's a lot of like he's doing a lot of delivery and product. So if we have people on done for use, he's doing much of that, and also like designing
Hmm.
Xreacher stuff and things like that. And I'm mostly handling like marketing, sales, and then also our like dev team. So yeah,
Nice, nice. Say something. No, you guys have a killer setup. If you want, I can kind of talk about the results that I've gotten with XReach so
yeah,
far.
100%. That would be
Um,
cool.
yeah, so about a month and a half ago is when I found out about XReacher, and I hadn't done any X Outreach before. And I was under the impression that X Outreach didn't really work just because I get flooded in my inbox full of XDMs. And I kind of assumed it was just too saturated and it wouldn't work. But then I saw a video about you and I was going to DM you, but then I saw that you DM me and I'd never seen it. And so you hooked me up with a free account. So I was like, I'll give it a try. Why not? And I tried it out. And on my main account, which is at like, to be fair, it's at like 10 point something K followers. So that does make a bit of a difference. But the main one gets between 80, so one lead every 80 to 100 DMs on my main account. And then, so that already surprised me like crazy. I was like, I thought maybe it'd be one out of 500 at best. But that went really well. And I was like, okay, this is really impressive. So I set up some more aged accounts. And on the aged accounts that don't have that many followers or not that much content, it's still one out of 150 to 175 I'm seeing turning into a lead. So far it's been really great. The only downside maybe with X is maybe the targeting for some people isn't great. Like if I have one client that I manage LinkedIn campaigns for, and he would be reaching out to like I think personal injury attorneys. So like if you're trying to do that on X, maybe that wouldn't work. But if you're just trying to find entrepreneurs who are self-employed, there's plenty on X, and the targeting is perfect for that. Just as if you want to do something very specific, maybe LinkedIn's better. But that's the only downside I can see with X.
Yeah, 100%. Um, uh, there is a lot of, for example, like service providers and people on MoneyX, like there's a bunch of people there. But if people are like focusing really like specific niches, like in some exact location, I would probably choose another platform. But if it's like besides that, if it's a little bit more broader than yeah, the X, you can send loads of volume there.
Well, yeah. Well, let me ask you one thing. Can you guys scrape communities on X and then reach out to those people?
Not yet, but we can build it. I
Hmm.
have built just myself just some quick scraper like in a day or something, and it worked. But we would, to polish it and actually do some front end for it and publish it to the tool, it would probably take a maybe week or 2 weeks. But we can do that. Maybe you
Gotcha.
think that would be
Well, I mean,
useful?
because I know that, yeah, that would be sweet because the communities aren't as good as on Facebook. Like, they're not as good as in
Yeah,
Facebook groups, but it does kind of add a little bit of more targeting. But I saw that you guys have a upload CSV or list of username.
yeah.
So in theory, if there was another scraper, like, I don't know if Phantom Buster does it, but if there was some scraper out there, could you just scrape a community and then upload it to your guys' tool? That's kind of what I was thinking would be possible.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, it's like kind of like a perfect tool. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we also do is that we scrape only people that have open DMs. So you are not sending, requests to the people that have closed DMs. So for example,
Yep.
even if you
Yep.
upload CSV file, we will then check one by one. We will check all of the leads and just filter out those that you can DM, and then yeah, you
Oh,
can start the
nice.
campaigns there. So
Yeah. No, it's solid. And then so far the quality of calls have been pretty good with X, surprisingly, because as long as you kind of have a little bit of a filtering system when people DM you and say they're interested, so far the people I've hopped on a call with have been great. So no issues with that. That was my concern at first that one, X just wouldn't work, even though it did in the end. And then two, that the quality wouldn't be good, but then it turned out to be quite good so far. So I'm liking the quality of the people there too.
yeah, yeah. Like we have been using like Xreacher before. We was even selling it like just for the done for use, and we was like sourcing our clients there. And yeah, you can find a lot of relevant leads, like especially if you are doing like some lead gen or like some B2B services, then yeah, the X is
Are
a
you
really good platform.
Yeah, yeah. Are you guys doing any cold email for XReacher?
No, actually not. I haven't been looking into that yet. We don't do any cold email.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe cold, because the thing is, I do cold email as a service, so I create like an SMTP server, which is kind of like
Yeah.
the equivalent of like using Mailgun or something, but you can use it for cold email. But there's some people it just doesn't work for. Like, there's one offer I used it for myself for. Most of them work great, but there was one that I sent like 90,000 emails and it just flopped. And then I tried the exact same offer on X for like a week or two, and it worked great. So I got more leads in a week or two from like one or two X accounts compared to sending like 90,000 cold emails. So sometimes X outreach might, to my complete surprise, work better than cold emails. So I don't know. It's pretty good so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you do
Yeah.
any
That might be the
LinkedIn?
case. No, not right now. We have been doing before some like manual like in a manual outreach in groups and in mails and using also Ulink for connections. But right now I don't do much
Hmm.
outreach there.
Okay, nice. I mean, I guess you guys are kind of already set with X average because how many are you sending
Yeah.
right now? You said like 20,000 per day.
Yeah, something like 20,000 DMs per day. You won't message the same people between like different accounts. So that was the problem I had before. I was still like reaching out to the same accounts again and again with the accounts. But right now, when you are starting campaign, you can add there a tag. And for example, I add there each time like tag Xreacher. And right now, none
Huh?
of the accounts message people that have been already messaged by different accounts. So it right now before for example one person got like DM from 20 accounts. Right now it isn't possible. It's just messaging new and new people.
Oh, that's a really good feature because I thought it was more like you don't message the same person from the same account, but that's way better that it's also separate accounts. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever used have you ever used Walaxy before on LinkedIn?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's kind of like that because there, my main concern was I had like a team plan, a bunch of different people with different offers, and my concern was that it would message the same people. That's like the number one people ask me with Leadbook. Unfortunately, with Leadbook, there's no way to restrict that from happening besides just doing separate Facebook groups. But that's a great service. Yeah, is it possible to toggle it on and off in your case, or is it just off? Probably just best it's off, right?
uh, what do you mean, like this feature or
Yeah, so like if you want to message the same people, but I guess you wouldn't want that, so it's just
yeah,
constantly off, right?
yeah. Um, it's like a tag. So for example, if you have 5 clients, let's say you are doing it's good for the agencies. I've built it that way. So for example, if you have like 3 or 4 clients and you have let's say 5 clients for 5 accounts for one client and another 5 accounts for other client, and it's completely different offer. It doesn't matter that much if you cross message like between those accounts.
Gotcha, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
so you can add a tag between let's say those 5 accounts, and those accounts won't message anyone, that those accounts messaged, and then you can add like another tag to another client for another accounts, and they won't message between each other. But you can just have
Gotcha.
one tag for everyone and doesn't message anyone between that. So
Gotcha. Ah, yeah, that's a cool feature. I do like that. What is the kind of long-term vision that you guys are putting? How long has XReach even been a thing? I only just heard about it 2 months ago, maybe.
it is it's like a year right now, but the version that you see right now, like the really good version is there. I would say like 2 or 3 months, like maybe like 2 months. Is like the really good version that we have right now. Before it wasn't that
Nice.
great, but for last 2 months, it's really good for last like 2 months. We have done
Killer.
a whole like backend rebuild, and after that, it's just great.
Here's one question. So with Leadbook, I'm constantly concerned about and having to adapt to Facebook API changes. So it's a constant battle. And with Facebook, I don't know how it is with X because most X tools work pretty smoothly most of the time. Same with Instagram, or at least with our
Yeah,
Instagram tool, it works most of the time. But with Facebook, pretty much all Facebook tools out there, there's a common, week maximum, but usually 2 to 5 days where the tool just stops working because of a Facebook API change. Do you guys have to constantly adapt to API changes, or is it kind of just smooth sailing?
wait, do you use you use Facebook API?
No, no, no. In the case of Twitter or X, do you have API changes that make the tool buggy every now and then, make them glitchy?
Mm, no, no,
Okay.
it
Yeah,
hasn't
that
happened yet.
okay, that's great news. Because I remember a long time ago there was this guy I met an X. His name was Max, and he had some some Twitter outreach tool.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression that since Elon Musk joined, you had to pay something ridiculous like 40,000 per month to access the API or something like that. Did you hear anything
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, there are more options for the API. So you have their options like there is some free version, some $100 per month, and like some $5,000 per month, and then like the big one is like 40,000, and that is like the one that we would have to use, but we don't use the official API, so we don't pay that.
I guess the main thing most people are worried about with tools like ours is whether or not one day it will just stop working, which usually shouldn't happen as long as Facebook or X doesn't get too strict. But like as a worst case scenario, a tool will always, I don't know if you've ever used like an Instagram outreach tool before, but at least the one that we have, it acts kind of like a human. So it's very manual. It will open a new tab, it will paste the message in, and you have to paste the usernames in manually, so you scrape them and then paste them in.
Oh, so,
As long as you're okay with the tool doing that, that's the worst any of these social media outreach tools can become. So
true.
like the best case scenario is in the cloud where you just don't touch it, like with you
Yeah,
guys. But if X got really strict, or Facebook got really strict, or Instagram, at the worst case scenario, it could be one of those tools that just manually opens
exactly.
tabs and just pastes it, which isn't too bad. It's not the end of
Yeah,
the world.
yeah, exactly. It's still better
Yeah.
than sending out manual DMs or like having VA
Yeah,
sending that. Yeah,
no, for sure. I think with marketing, the game is always like we're constantly finding new ways to get the thing to work because this Facebook DMs worked way better a year and a half ago. They still work great, but two
yeah,
years ago it was like you could send 30 DMs. I remember the first time I ever got into Facebook outreach. It was 2 years ago. I had an offer. I was doing marketing for crypto projects, and the crypto market tanked. So I was like, I have to find something new to do. And so I had this B2B data offer, and I just sent like 80 DMs. And the next day I woke up to like seven, eight leads. One of them turned into a sale. And I was like, shit, this works really well. But now it's more like you send one out of 50 DMs usually turns into a lead, or, someone who's interested, something like that. It's still great, still not bad. But yeah, we're always trying to stay on our toes. So like, I'm sure you're always looking for new ways to do marketing.
true, true. Yeah, and What about your other tools? For example, the Instagram one. How is that
The
going?
Instagram one, the Instagram one is exactly what I was saying earlier. So it's a very manual tool, so it doesn't get shut down because I think a lot of other previous tools, the big complaint was that they just stopped working all the time. But this one's very manual, so it just opens a tab, it pastes their username in, it
Yeah,
DMs them, it likes their posts, it comments on their posts. It's very simple. It's not in the cloud,
simple
so
one.
that's
Yeah.
the downside of it. But yeah, it's a cheap tool. It's nothing crazy. It just does a simple task. And then, yeah, the Facebook Leadbook is similar, but it's a Chrome extension. And in the past, it did happen in the back end, but now it does actually open a tab. But it's still quite in the background, so you just need to put it into a different desktop and just let it run. You're good to go.
Got it, got it. And so do you still like code new features on the lead book, or it's just like right now the final version and you are just pushing more of the sales?
Yeah, Leadbook actually started out, we actually white labeled the tool in the beginning, just to kind of proof of concept.
Yeah.
And then eventually we made our own tool. And so far, the next thing we're adding is country filter and gender filter. We technically already have it, but it doesn't work that great. So we're kind of just finalizing that. And then Leadbook isn't really my main focus. So we are going to keep adding. So my developer, he's kind of managing the dev side of it and kind of the roadmap. So he's managing all that and he's going to improve it. But it's not really my main focus whatsoever. It's kind of something I
Okay.
sell on the side. The main thing is the film fund and then, like I said, the newsletter. Because the newsletter is great because my main concern with everything else I do is it's always changing. There's so many things that are changing, so many like
Yeah.
moving pieces. But with the newsletter, you always own your data. It's not like if you have a Stripe account, you can get your Stripe account shut down, or Facebook account, you get it shut down, or whatever it may be. With an email list, you always own it. As long as you have the CSV of the
That's
people, you
very
can
true.
always
Yeah.
upload it. Yeah, so that's what I like about it. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, the newsletter is really anti-fragile. So even the school group that we have, like they can like ban it anytime. They can ban the
Yep.
group, or if, for example, school can stop working one day. But if you have the emails, you still have the emails. Like you just save it on your site, and you can
Yep.
then even if your emails gets completely fucked, then you can just email them from another email. So you have the people. So yeah, I,
No,
I
that's
like
very true.
the newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah. How many did you say you had in your newsletter at the moment again? I forgot
Yeah,
what you
so
said earlier.
so we have right now 3,400 people from the school group, and then we have about 1,250 Xreacher users, something like that. So let's say
Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
4,500.
Oh, interesting. Because the one thing that I did that helped me out is I would always put the pricing. I don't know if this is a good method or bad method. Like I'm no
Okay.
expert, but with Leadbook, I would put the pricing behind an opt-in page. So it'd be a ClickFunnels page, and in order to see the pricing, you have to put your email in. So that way, even if so then my email list wouldn't
Yeah.
just consist of the users of the platform. It would also consist of people who showed interest in it, kind of thing. So that's how I got to, I think it's more like 14,000 at the moment, 14.7 thousand. But it's just by kind of hiding the pricing. And when I combine that with the lead magnet method, so like if you guys are sending 6,000 DMs, I don't know what kind of lead magnets you guys have, but you have tons of YouTube content that's super valuable, like sending
Yeah.
6,000 per day. Are you sending any like lead magnets to people via X, like just saying, here's a video that shows you how to do X, Y, Z?
Actually not. Do you think that would work well?
Yeah, so far that's what I've been doing, actually with cold email. And it's not been bad with cold email because usually people are pitching a service and it's kind of a lot to say yes to that. But if someone just says, here's a free thing and it's genuinely valuable and it fits based on the niche that you're sending to, that works really well. I'm starting to play around with that on XReacher and it seems to be working well, so I hopefully just scale it up. And yeah, I mean, I think it would be a good thing. Especially since your guys' content is very valuable. Because there's not a lot of people sending, what do you say, 6,000 DMs per day at the moment? Or no, 20,000.
Yeah, yeah, it's it's a lot. I haven't seen much people actually doing that, or like talking about it. There are definitely people that are sending like even maybe like hundreds of thousands of DMs maybe per day. So
Oh,
maybe there are people, but
I
definitely
believe
they
it.
don't share it with other people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's very true.
And for
Um,
the setup that you have on Xreacher, like for the new accounts that you are
Mm.
setting it up? How does the setup look like? Like, do you just upload there some like random guys, or do you use like girls' pictures, and then like how much followers do you usually buy? Like, how does the setup look like
I'm
usually?
doing it would look exactly the same as your YouTube video. So I'm following you as the expert. I'm doing exactly what you do in the videos. So I will usually do guys. So I haven't done any girls yet. I probably could.
Yeah.
But there's a few things that I've noticed. So one, I in the beginning I didn't use Midjourney. I would just use pictures of actual people, which was maybe a bit sketch because that got me shut down immediately. Because I think if X is quite intelligent, so if it sees that there's a picture of someone, like I think I used my brother's picture one. He agreed to it, but he had that picture somewhere else, and then that X account got shut down because of it, even though it was a cross-platform, so he had it on a different platform. So now I'm using Midjourney, like you recommend, to do mostly male profiles or only male profiles, and I buy 400 followers, um, and I verify the phone number, just like you said, do the proxy. Same as Facebook Outreach, basically. One thing I do is I private the account. So once I buy the followers, I private the account because if someone sees it has zero posts or just crappy posts or a small amount, it's probably not a good thing. But if it's private
I
and they
see.
see the followers, it's not that strange. They just say, okay, he's a private account.
Okay, cool. Like, what do we do there right now is if it's for a client, we usually just post there a post. That is some kind of case study, and then we buy their like views and likes and pin that tweet at the top. So it looks there is a lot of engagement. And then
Mm.
for all of the other posts,
Uh,
we just retweet other people's tweets. So it's the timeline is very long of other people's tweets,
uh,
and on
yep.
each tweet there is engagement, so it doesn't look weird.
That's a smart method. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. Because maybe some people would be sketched out by the private thing. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a good method. Yeah, I'll give that a try.
Yeah, we have been using also like the private accounts on Instagram a lot before because you know we didn't want the
Normal.
people to see that we didn't want to post pictures and things like that. But
Mm.
right now we have public accounts and we have like a lot of pictures there that look real, and reply rates are a little bit higher than we had before with private ones.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Besides that, yeah, I mean, dude, if you ever want to start a SaaS together, let's give it a try. I'll talk to you privately about some of the ideas, just because, obviously you kind of have to be secretive about the ideas or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if we combine forces, we could maybe make something cool. Are you doing anything else that's interesting? Anything that you're just thinking about for the future?
Mm, I mean, right now I just plan to focus. Just I will be putting more YouTube videos. I think right now from January we'll start publishing more YouTube videos about outreach, and then just pushing more of the Xreacher. But like if we think about some cool project, we can also launch that. We
Yeah,
can definitely talk about it.
Your YouTube channel is doing pretty well. I think how many? Because I didn't see the subscribers, but I saw one of your videos was at like 26,000 views or something like that. It's doing pretty well.
I don't. I have like 1,800 subscribers right now, but some of the
Mhm.
videos, if people like it gets views. So some of them have a lot of views, some of them don't have that much views.
How
But
many?
yeah,
Where would you say the major? So if you were to break it down in percentages, where your users come from, how many would come from YouTube versus the school group versus outreach, stuff like that? If you had to break it down.
I would say like 80% goes from Twitter outreach. Like most of them goes right
Okay.
now through Twitter outreach, I would say. And then it's probably YouTube. And right now I don't post in a school group for the past like 1 or 2 months. So it's just mostly it can either go through YouTube or Twitter. But because we are sending so many DMs on X, like the volume is just like really big. So it's most of the people are coming
Gotcha.
through that.
Yeah, because one thing that helped me out a little bit is I would do outreach for Leadbook, which didn't really work because it was quite a low ticket product. But in the beginning, I just did it because why not?
Yeah.
But what I noticed was most people, number one, if you send someone a DM and you say, "Here's my pitch," usually you have to talk back and forth quite a lot for them to actually trust you and believe you and just to care, because most people don't care that much, even if they're interested in the offer. And so if it's a high ticket offer, that's fine because you're willing to chat for $1,000+ per month. But with the lower ticket stuff, what I noticed worked better was the lead magnet method, because that way I would use Facebook groups. One thing that I did that maybe you guys do or you could do is I would advertise my lead magnets in Facebook groups. So usually the admins are okay with it. If you just say, I made a Loom showing you how to do XYZ, send
Yeah.
6,000 XDMs per day. Who's interested? Then a bunch of people would comment, and then I would DM it to them. In my case, obviously, I did Facebook DMs, not X. And that way you would build the email list, because that way people develop that trust with you without you having to type, because they see one email from you, then another email, then another email. And with enough exposure, they start caring about it, as opposed to having to manually engage with hundreds of people separately. If you just get them on the email list, then they get that exposure, and by the fifth time they buy from you, whatever it may be. But besides that, man, I know you have to go at 4 o'clock, but if there's anything else you
Yeah.
want to talk about, or yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I guess it's everything for now. I think we can book another call maybe for like later, maybe in January, maybe, or maybe like in a week or something, and go over something like specific. Maybe we can go over like let's say some part of outreach or something, and just maybe like
Yeah,
make
yeah,
some quick series or something. Then just share it
yeah.
with people.
Let's do it, because by then I will have several different campaigns, and some of them I'm okay with revealing because obviously sometimes you want to hide the offer or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also I'll have sent a lot more DMs, so the case study will be a bit bigger. So yeah, if in January you want to do something, I'll send a bunch of XDMs until then, and you can see what happens.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. Okay,
Sweet,
thank you,
man.
Joss, for coming for the
Okay.
podcast.